Hey, what's up? So I'm gonna be lining this design today because I did this design recently and I'm gonna have to touch it up on the next session, so I'm practicing to go over the lines again. I'm using a 3M liner, 10 gauge. So after most lines, I spread the skin to see if I damaged it too much. I'm just having an ink flow issue here. The ink's not going into the cartridge. It's just because I turned down my light because on the last video it was too bright and you couldn't see the tattoo at times. Maybe if I move this cartridge, this ink cap closer, I can see how deep I'm dipping in the needle. So I'm going a bit too deep. You can see that I'm cutting up the fake skin. So just go shallower next time. I still can't see shit. I probably have to do it at a lower voltage to avoid that problem of cutting the skin. But we're just gonna move on. So now I'm getting the hang of it. I didn't cut the skin on that one. So it looks like the past two lines were pretty solid. No cutting or nothing. And I just want to keep it that way. So this whole area is pretty good. And I usually break down these long lines into smaller lines because I don't know if it's a confidence thing, but I don't think like I can do it in one go. And I usually start from the bottom right and work my way up to the top left. That's why I'm gonna hit this up first. So usually I do this one first and then go here and then work my way up. Let's see how we did. It's pretty solid. flow was good there. Even though I didn't have to dip in twice, I got all 4 lines, which is pretty nice. So I'm going to break this line into 2, and I'm going to start from the top and work all the way down to here. Because apparently people struggle with circles, and I'm just going to do what's comfortable. So there it's kind of faded. I'll probably have to go over that again. And that fixed it. I don't really like to double pass, but it's necessary sometimes. So there, that was a good line. I'm trying to be quicker as I tattoo, so I'm more efficient. And I don't put too much stress on the client. Those lines are good. I'm gonna check if I blew it out, and maybe I did. I can't really see it, but it looks good. The lines are pretty good. I want to just go over there a bit, the inside of the circle. So this is a double pass. I'm happy with that. I might go over this line now, the outside of the circle. I'm just focusing on solid lines, so when it heals on a real skin, it's not going to be faded. And that's pretty much quarter of the tattoo. So on a real client, you'd like rotate their leg, for example, a bit, and then tackle this part, because we're going from the bottom to the top. Pretty good line. Just gotta finish the second half off. I could probably go over that line again, but it's not bad. That should do it. Horizontal lines I struggled with the longest, but that one's pretty good. I've literally been practicing horizontal lines for like 3 months. So the reason I only went halfway of that whole line is because I got uncomfortable, and yeah, I don't really want to tattoo when I'm uncomfortable, because I'd probably mess up. That pretty solid one pass. Don't even have to touch it up. Now we move on to the A. Here we have a semicircle, so probably take it in 2 lines. Not even 2, I have to break it up. Good line. So I made an adjustment on the fly because I felt like these 2 parallel parts are a bit flat, so I rounded it out a bit more. I just went outside of the stencil, just to the left. That was just something that I did when I was making the stencil, the designing part. So on the other 2 ones, I think the line work took an hour, so I think I'm flying past it. We have like 1/3 of it left. I'm really getting away with doing a couple lines with 1 dip of the ink, which I never really practiced that. I used to dip it every line, but it's working today. put a bit too much ink in the cartridge, so I'm trying to just get a bit out with the paper towel. Had to break that line down into parts. So I'm just rotating it a bit because I don't like tattooing like to the side. I like the area that I'm tattooing to be right in front of me, flat. Too much ink in the cartridge. Gotta take some out. It's really hard to see with this setting of the headlight. I wish I could turn it higher, but it just lowers the quality of the video. So I just gotta deal with it for now. I can't really see how old that line is. I'll probably just have to go over it again. Okay, now it's better. Probably not saturated that first time. And I keep dipping in the needle too deep, and there's gonna be like an overload of ink. So the most difficult part of this design is probably the corner of the X's, or the corners on the X, because the serifs are so sharp. You have to really just really follow the stencil. And there's 4 of them, so you gotta make it match. So one issue with that line is that I lifted up a bit on that little area, so I'd have to go over that again. And yeah, sometimes it's hard to make it look like you did it in one pass if you go over it. I think I can tell that I went over that part twice, but it's not that noticeable. So I reckon one of my biggest weakness is going from here to here. Just that angle is like so weird. I'd rather avoid it, but I'll give it a shot. And I did a really good line there, so that's good. Just gonna rotate it. Too much ink on that dip, so I gotta take some out. There was no way I was gonna do that in one go. And I have to go over it again because it's not completely black, so it's gonna be a double pass. I just keep dipping it in too much. So I really prefer lining right now instead of shading with a mag, but I've been studying how to use a mag recently, so maybe with time I'll like both of them. But right now, like, lining this is pretty fun. It's probably because I know exactly what I'm doing instead of trying to study it. I couldn't even reach the previous line on that go. I got heaps uncomfortable going on that down part. So I'm just checking if I'm cutting the skin by stretching it. Because you really don't want that. I also find it difficult going in that motion, so starting from here and then ending there. It's just that downwards to the left is really uncomfortable. Like, I don't feel confident in it. But I just work my way around it. I really want to go over this line again. It's just hard to tell because the stencil doesn't rub off. So I took a picture of the healed tattoo of this on my client, and it's been maybe 2 months healed, and I'm gonna post it on Instagram. It's just the same name as this channel. And you'll be able to see like the mistakes I made, but it's not major mistakes. It still looks really good. And we just got one more line. and we're done with the lining. We're just gonna double check if all the lines are solid. It's really hard to tell with the stencil on, but I don't really notice any parts that aren't saturated. Probably here, I'll just touch it up. And yeah, the last time I did this design on practice skin, it took like an hour, so it's been like 42 minutes, so it's pretty good to be tattooing faster. I'm probably less nervous, that's a reason why I'm doing it so fast, but I've done it like 6 times, so I should be a bit confident. And we'll just clean it up. I'll take this out. Alright, see ya.